Hi there, my name's Sean, and I want to talk about Rocko's Modern Life. Today, we're saddling up for a tale from out west with the good, the bad, and the Wallaby.
He came over from down under, he was a real marsupial wonder. Rocko, the Wallaby of the West.
Our story begins when Rocko receives a letter from his Uncle Gib of the Lazy Eye Ranch, inviting him out to visit. Rocko takes a moment to reflect on his time spent on the ranch as a kid, like Uncle Gib's unparalleled lassoing skills.
He tried to teach me to row, but I could never quite get the hang of it.
He also recalls his first time riding a horse. A sadistic and mean steed named Jezebel who literally chews him up and spits him out. Every memory Rocko can pull from his time on the ranch is riddled with mockery and ridicule, relentlessly laughed at and taunted by the ranch hands. Despite all of this, Rocko's the type of character to get back on the saddle every time. He decides not only to accept the invitation, but to make it a point to redeem himself in the eyes of the condescending ranchers. He even pulls out an old cowboy hat from the closet and puts it on. By the laws of 90s sitcoms and right on cue, Heffer enters, hears the pitch, asks to come along and joins the party for a trip to the middle of nowhere.
Okay, Heffer, but you be careful. A ranch is no place for a steer.
Rocko's Modern Life is already a fish-out-of-water story about a wallaby in America, so I suppose this makes it a fish-out-of-water experience for Rocko visiting the ranch. As they come upon the Lazy Eye Ranch, cattle can be seen on the field as far as the eye can see. They make their way up to the house to announce themselves. Gib flings the door open, pinning Rocko against the house and out of sight, and sets his eyes on Heffer.
You sure got fat, boy.
A quick case of mistaken identity aside, Rocko's told he needs to keep Heffer with the other steer. Before Rocko can protest, Gib exits back into the house. Despite the foreign environment and Rocko's warning that ranch life is far different from the city upbringing Heffer is used to, Heffer doesn't mind. He's in it for the authentic cattle experience. Almost like a desire to connect with his own roots and culture, which is remarkable growth given where Heffer started.
In all the years I've known him, he never once told me he was adopted.
Later that night, Heffer leans into the lifestyle he missed out on when he finds the herd sleeping outdoors. Standing up, as cows typically do, Heffer attempts to sleep alongside them, tipping over almost immediately upon falling asleep, and getting completely ostracized from the herd in the process. So I guess we're doubling down and doing a fish-out-of-water story for Heffer too.
Maybe I'll just sleep in the barn.
The next morning, we see Heffer sleeping soundly in the barn, before cutting to Rocko and Uncle Gib as they... Wait. That's not how the episode goes. Well, not if you live outside of the United States anyway. This episode, much like Leapfrogs, had its own battle with controversy and censorship, resulting in 2 scenes being removed in certain regions. Instead of sleeping like a log in the barn that morning, Heffer's sleep is interrupted when a ranch hand mistakes him for a dairy cow. He hooks Heffer up to the milk-o-matic without a second thought, and judging from that look in Heffer's eyes, I don't think he minds. Those stars in Heffer's eyes were originally planned to be hearts. When pitching the scene to the censors, the crew was reportedly bracing for the worst, only to get one simple note: change the hearts to stars. With the green light, the scene made it to air. The original version of this episode can be found in some international releases, as well as the official With Friends Like These VHS tape.
He's Heffer, and he's starring in With Friends Like These.
In the United States and on Paramount Plus, however, this scene, along with one more at the end of the episode, were cut after only a few airings. Meanwhile, Rocko's morning starts off with a visit to the horse he used to ride, Jezebel. Determined to prove that he can handle himself on the ranch, he asks his Uncle Gib if he could take her for a ride. Gib agrees that Rocko should be able to handle her now.
She doesn't quite seem to have the same spunk anymore, does she?
After catching up with Jezebel,
She's been dead nearly 6 years now.
Rocko tries his hand at the rope as Uncle Gib gives him a demonstration of what a real rancher can do with a lasso. Despite his determination, Rocko never quite gets the hang of it, roping pretty much anything and everything except for Heffer, who volunteered for the job.
Come on, tie me up, Rocko!
While Rocko works on his technique, a ranch bull pulls Heffer aside. He informs Heffer that the culture of the ranch is very much cattle versus ranchers, and that if Heffer truly wants to be a part of the herd, he needs to recognize the ranchers as his oppressors. It also wouldn't hurt his social cred to get branded.
Rocko, will you brand me?
Heffer latches onto the idea completely. His desire to be included begins to descend into desperation for acceptance. Rocko doesn't just hesitate, he fully shuts it down, again and again.
Please!
Go away, Hef.
Heffer's determination has him obsessively pleading throughout the rest of the day, even interrupting Rocko's sleep to make his case.
If you were a true friend, you'd burn my butt. Come on! Brand me, brand me, brand me!
The next morning, Heffer tracks down the herd to reveal a surprise, a fancy new branding to show his unity with the herd. After the initial shock fades, a suspicious cow pipes up.
That looks like felt marker.
Heifer is welcomed in anyway and invited to party at the club that evening.
Well, pull up your pants and come on.
We catch up with Heifer later at the Mumu Club, a pretty great little makeshift saloon set up in one of the barns. Pool, poker, live music, dancing, and even a bucking mechanical human.
Get along, little human!
Rocko shows up to check in on Heifer after the whole branding disagreement, but the Mumu Club isn't interested in sharing their space with someone they consider one of their oppressors. He can't even get a word in private with Heifer without the rest of the herd getting involved.
What's the matter? You got something to say you can't say in front of his herd brothers?
There's a lot of interesting terminology used by the members of the herd that point to cult-like behavior. Alienation from friends and family, the branding for unity, and not to mention the us versus them mentality.
Well, bub, you gotta decide. Are you gonna be one of us or one of them?
While Heifer is meant to be a bit of a wild card, this level of reckless spontaneity and abandonment feels a little off base for him. He sends Rocko off, letting him know that his decision has been made.
I'm part of the herd now.
Without a word, Rocko leaves the bar, defeated. The next morning, Rocko wakes to find Heifer loaded up in a cattle trailer. Despite the events of the previous night, there's zero animosity between the two.
I'm going to market. Just in time, too. I really need to pick up some snack foods.
When the truck drives off, Heifer is jotting down a grocery list when the bull that's been indoctrinating him all episode sets the record straight. Uncle Gib is selling the stock of cattle, by the pound, to the neighboring Lazy J Ranch.
You should fetch a small fortune.
Meanwhile, Rocco's hearing about the deal from Uncle Gib directly. Horrified at the idea of his best friend being sold like property, he jumps into action to chase down the truck before it's too late. Mounting the taxidermied corpse of Jezebel, fixed to a board with wheels, Rocko grabs a rope and effortlessly lassos Heifer's head through the boards of the trailer. The slack tensions out, pulling Jezebel and Rocko behind the truck across the arid wasteland. Rocko steadies himself as he bolts along at a grueling pace, securing the rope to Jezebel and climbing across it to reach the truck. However, the truck hits a steep incline, sending Rocko scrambling before being ejected from the cliffside entirely.
Follow that truck.
Catching up again on his new mount, Rocko steadies himself and walks the lasso like a tightrope, successfully reaching the trailer. He climbs over cattle and onto the cab to get the rancher's attention.
Hodge? What does that mean?
Trying the driver's side window instead, Rocko eventually gets his message across. The rancher obliges and slams on the brakes, sending Rocko flying over the cliffside, his momentum carrying him past one near miss after another before the universe cuts him a break. Well, kind of.
What an unbelievable stroke of luck.
It's a Rocko episode, so the cardinal rule still applies. Even when he wins, he loses a little. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Heifer comes running up to Rocko, relieved to be spared from being sold to the Lazy J Ranch. I mean, they don't say it explicitly, but surely Heifer would have found his way to the slaughterhouse eventually. Despite being a world largely made up of anthropomorphized animals, this is a universe that still has steaks and burgers. It's not afraid to butcher one of its own and serve them to the other inhabitants. It's even normalized the concept quite a bit.
Look away, honey. No, that's not him.
Heifer decides that the herd life just isn't for him. He apologizes to Rocko for his behavior, and Rocko accepts. While he pulls cactus needles from his butt, Uncle Gib approaches to give him some kudos. Inspired by Rocko's heroics, he's decided to close the ranch for good and open a resort for cows.
A club moo, if you will.
As Rocko and Heifer ready up to head back to O-Town, we get one more deleted scene. Heifer taking a moment to say goodbye to someone special.
Well, I guess this is goodbye. Just remember, the problems of 2 people don't amount to a hill of manure in this wacky world, but at least we'll always have the barn.
As Rocko and Heifer ride off into the sunset on the backs of sheep, Uncle Gib and the Lazy Eye Ranch cattle send them off with a song recounting the adventures and legacy of the Wallaby of the West.
Can't ride a rope or wrangle or play a good triangle. And his best friend on the planet is a steer.
The song itself, Wallaby of the West, was performed by Mr. Lawrence as Gib Hootson, appeared on the 1998 Best of Nicktoons compilation album, and was the first song ever written by Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh.
Mom! Phineas and Ferb are making a title sequence!
Yeah, that Dan Povenmire and Jeff Swampy Marsh. The creators of Phineas and Ferb were working together on Rocko's Modern Life nearly 15 years before that show ever debuted. And it wasn't the last song we'd get from the Emmy Award-winning writing duo either, as they worked on quite a few episodes across Rocko's 4-year run.
Hey, Rocko, which is funnier, bananas or cheese?
Cheese, Hef. Definitely cheese.
Wait, didn't they drive there? I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the good, the bad, and the Wallaby. If you want to see more Rocko videos like this, check out the playlist in the description down below for every Rocko episode I've covered so far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Got a voice as big as thunder.